Huge CS2 update, operation and anti-cheat, remake of Danger Zone. All in one video. Let's get into it.
Months since the so-called release of Counter-Strike 2, and I think many would agree that the game is still in...
Give me some hope. Give me some hope. We've been without updates for months. Mr. Not Your Like, thank you for the 21 months. Mr. Santa, again, thank you so much for the 5. Is everything right? Title and and fucking game? Yeah, we're good. Let's go. Vamos.
It's been more than 2 months since the so-called release of Counter-Strike 2, and I think many would agree that the game is still in some sort of open beta right now. Developers rushed a bit under community pressure due to the promised summer release. And no matter how anyone, including myself, tried to come up with a logical excuse, the numbers speak for themselves.
Oh my days. That is less than before. And to all the people who said, like, when people were looking at the player numbers, Google Trends is another thing that you can look at, which is, of course, how often people Google something, right? Big indicator of how popular something is. CS2. Ain't no mother-sucking way. I have not looked at that. Past 12 months. This was... Okay, this was all the hype for CS2. I should check for... What should I check for? CSGO and CS2, right? Boom. I mean, it's just both is less than before, right? So much freaking less. That is fucking crazy.
Recent Steam reviews have become mixed right after the release, and the hype-fueled player base has experienced negative growth of up to 25%. However, according to the developers in a recent exclusive interview with PC Gamers, such an early release despite all the problems will allow them to bring CS2 to the desired state much faster than the sluggish development and support of 2 versions. Hey everyone, Max at the microphone again, and all this time I haven't released any videos because there was simply nothing to talk about. In fact, the developers released a bare bones skeleton, gradually adding the meat that was available for years in the previous version. However, thanks to their small actions in the process of refining the game, communication on Twitter, Reddit and that very PC Gamer interview, a puzzle has formed in my head. And today I'll try to find out what we can expect in future updates. So let's get right into it.
Let's see it. The baddest thing that I want is anti-cheat, Danger Zone and an operation.
First and foremost, we need to figure out where all the missing game modes have gone. When Counter-Strike 2 was first released in limited beta, fully functional prototypes for absolutely all game modes were already there. In addition, it was possible to write custom scripts with custom game mechanics, as it was in CSGO with vscript. But over time they began to cut and replace all the necessary elements. So the problem is not that the developers are so bad, so lazy and didn't make it to the release. You need to understand that CS2 is not written from scratch and still reuses huge chunks of code from the original game. And modes like Arms Race, Flying Scoutsman, Demolition and even Danger Zone worked almost from very first closed beta versions. So why break and cut something that already works quite well? Fortunately, the worst expectations did not come true, and to everyone's surprise, Valve unveiled the mystery. Quote, those modes haven't been forgotten, we have plans to reintroduce popular game modes and explore others. That being said, all game modes regardless of their rules fundamentally depend on solid core gameplay. So in the short term we have been keeping our development focused on the spaces where the players spend the overwhelming amount of their collective time. It's a trade-off and understandably frustrating for players who primarily enjoyed other game modes, but we believe this is the best approach for the long-term success of CS2. It is important to note that all this fuss started around the same time we began to hear more and more about Valve's new tool called Pulse. If you haven't watched my videos, in a nutshell this is a separate tool for visual node-based programming that utilizes 2 languages, TypeScript and JavaScript, using the V8 engine from Google. At the moment developers are already using the system for in-game logic mechanics, and all scripts have extensions like .vts, .vgs and .vputs. But most importantly, they gradually begin to recreate the most basic game.
What is the video? He's getting into the sauce in a minute, bro. It's about leaks for what's about to come in CS2.
modes like Wingman based on
He's
this
setting the foundation, let him cook.
tool. And in theory, when everything is ready, developers may provide the community with a full-fledged Pulse editor, where anyone can create game logic by dragging visual elements instead of dealing with code. Based on this idea, we can assume that if they have already implemented a fairly simple mode like Wingman using Pulse, more complex, cool and fun game modes will follow in the future. Judging by their actions, and now even worse, developers didn't want to cut or abandon any content, they wanted to recreate it from scratch on a more convenient and durable tool base. Even though the Pulse editor is not currently available to ordinary mortals like us, a good friend of mine, Antimist, managed to write a DIY compiler for .ts scripts, and based on it created a small game mode that was impossible to do at the level of access in a regular CSGO map. The game reads the date, day of the week and current time from your PC, and based on this information the map changes day and night cycle, opens and closes doors and activates certain events. And believe me, this is just the tip of all possibilities. For those who want to experiment with Pulse, Antimist released his work with a basic example on GitHub. But since there are no official instructions for Pulse, you'll have to figure it out on your own. From the very first versions of CS2, we knew that developers were officially experimenting with configs for two popular community game modes. Before they cut support for all modes and vscript, there were templates for serve and aim maps with both implemented in Lua. So the current stagnation in game modes, as it seems to me, is not only because developers faced problems in the main game, but also because their second quite important tool is not quite ready. And in the end we should get all the game modes from the War Games group, because we already spotted remakes and ports of all the necessary maps like Lake, Short Dust, Baggage and Shoots in the game's files and promo materials. Plus retakes, since there are configurations for almost every map in the competitive map pool. Since developers announced and released new service medals in advance, I don't think we should expect any major updates or Christmas events this year, but you'll find it on Skins Monthly. Just log in on the site such as increased deposits, XP or golden tickets to have a chance to win in a huge giveaway. Use code GABEN.
I would even take any Christmas update, you know what I mean, bro? At least if it like shows like some form of yo, like we're here, you know what I mean? Put some sweaters on the chickens, dog. Some hoodies, zack. I don't know.
And buy skins much cheaper with the 30 plus 5% going to leave everything. That's what will happen with the danger zone. The developers are definitely not going to leave everything as it was in CSGO. It would be just foolish to not take advantage of many innovations in Source 2 to fix and improve all aspects of danger zone, as it suffered from the limitations of the old engine. Since the developers officially confirmed the return of Battle Royale in an interview and mentioned that they have plans to add new weapons in the future, I can comfortably say that many of the findings from my previous videos are now pretty much backed up. A new type of delayed action grenade called...
do you think Danger Zone can turn into something bigger, chat? Do you remember how Call of Duty was kinda like not dying but like slowing down and stuff? Everybody knew it, but what brought it back to mainstream was fucking Warzone all of a sudden, suck. And it was insane. Imagine, bro, if they cook right now on Danger Zone, because it was never that popular, ever. Maybe like 100 players, proximity chat. I don't know. I feel like it could be a lot more than what it was in CSGO. You know what I mean? Let it die? Nine, bro. Chat. Every person who I played Danger Zone with, that I introduced them to say like, yo, let's play one run of Danger Zone. Huh? What is that? I've never played it before. Suck. They always got immediately addicted to it. I'm telling you, CSGO Danger Zone had some charm to it. And if they can even make more out of that in CS2, it could hit big.
The pipe bomb currently has a blank icon but should work similarly to its Left 4 Dead 2 equivalent. A new beer trap that we previously saw as a reference in
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like a claymore.
lines of code now has a full model with icons, and it activates when an enemy steps on the button, temporarily holding them in place. A new fire grenade called Tripwire that looks like an incendiary with a metal wire that activates after a player steps on it, or a grenade launcher which was hinted by the developers on the official Twitter account.
Oh, like, bro, I'm telling you, Danger Zone could be so fucking good.
And which was mentioned in other Source 2 games long before the announcement of CS2. But more interestingly, shortly after the release, I mentioned that the color of the new smoke is slightly different when the grenade is purchased and used by CT or T players. However, by playing with the code a bit, you can unlock all variables, and then the smoke activates 8 additional colors. Exactly as many as there are teams in DZ. And I assume that instead of some absurd skins for grenades, as I thought earlier, this colored smoke will be used for an item like Smoke Beacon, which repeatedly leaked in updates and can be literally used as a smoke beacon. By using the Smoke Beacon, one of the teams calls an airdrop to the place where the colored smoke of that team is spreading. However, the airdrop will bring not a white crate but a black one, which has been in CSGO files for several years. According to the localization line, after one team uses Smoke Beacon, all players on the map will be immediately notified about the activation of this airdrop, and the box will contain some special equipment. The only new section in the Danger Zone config is called Co-op Paradrop Crate 0, and includes optional drops of one or several items from the list: M4A1, AK-47, Deagle, Shield, AWP, AUG, USPS, Helmet and Armor. That's it for mods, and now we're gonna discuss what's happening with map remakes. Train was shown in the trailer as a touchstone map with PBR textures, and we are unlikely to see a complete overhaul anytime soon, but in one of the recent updates there was a leak with the new HR Source 2 train textures, so who knows. FMPON said that he will work on a complete remake of Cache from scratch after finishing work on a remake of another of his map called Santorini, which was also officially added in one of the operations. And new Cache will take into account all the issues and nuances of the old remake to
That looks fantastic.
better fit the current competitive map pool. I already mentioned maps like Short Dust, Baggage and Shoots in this video, but also in the files there were the Canals and the Lake. However, things with Lake are not so straightforward, because long before the CS2 announcement, during our espionage on developers, they were spotted playing on the map called the Lake S2. And after the release, it turned out that all maps with the S2 tag that we spied in June, July and August 2022 were eventually fully remade. And I think you've already noticed that the only map I haven't mentioned yet, which also has the
This is still so crazy to me. There was this leaker group, like Gabe Follower and so on, and I think Aquarius and stuff, they were able to track the accounts of Valve employees and see what they do, like, at all times, you know, in CS. And see what maps they're on and stuff. Jesus.
S2 tag is the community-loved Cobblestone. Fortunately, in its case, more information was leaked, as in one of the updates, developers accidentally or intentionally pushed some path, textures, fully assembled materials and models from the upcoming remake. You don't have to be a genius to guess that the map will be redesigned in a winter style, since the main leaked material is a castle stone.
But then release it during winter, please! Nein, man. Oh, imagine tonight, winter cobblestone, zack. Chat, tonight is a good night. Surely, right? Tonight is the night where the Premier leaderboard ends, chat. It gets reset today, I think. The first season... And the very first season since CS2 came out ends today. The Premier fucking leaderboard, right? Who posted that again? Fucking it is 22nd of December. I don't know, maybe something happens today.
With a blend texture of snow, which in its path screams of being related to Cobblestone.
Winter 2025. Oh my days.
After the release, developers managed to push more than 20 updates. And a significant part of these updates was aimed at fixing bugs, improving the sub-tick system and adding new data centers and servers all over.
Wait. This is the one that I'm talking about. CS2 Premier Mode leaderboards. In the upcoming Premier Mode, the leaderboard will be classified in the categories. Look, we had the limited test beta season. Fall season of the Premier leaderboard, 23rd of September until 22nd of December. Boys and girls, that is today. I wonder when it will happen, though. Like, when does the leaderboard reset? And then, is it coming with an update? Please, bro, please. It's gonna be in a couple of hours, no?
Over the world. Despite the high probability that future updates will also be related to improving the core game, we accumulated a considerable amount of content for one.
Guys, it has to be new anti-cheat or something, no? Because now everybody is laughing at Premiere, how cheater infested it is. They're not just gonna start the next season, which is gonna last 3 months. Like, this is a reset, no? The first season was kind of like the test season. 100%, dog.
Big update, be it an operation or some another event. So let's discuss what else can be expected. Firstly, the most significant hint at an operation is the preparation for the implementation of full-fledged narrative comics in Panorama on Source 2. For those who may not know or remember, almost all operations in the Counter-Strike universe used to be introduced with a little bit of lore. These stories revealed the backstory of characters and then gave you certain tasks or sent you on co-op missions. And during Operation Wildfire, they even released a full comic book with 4 chapters. But after devs abandoned the scale form interface and started developing and then switched to the new Panorama UI, the concept of comics completely disappeared. However, with the arrival of Source 2, it seems that developers decided to bring back some old community-loved ideas.
Yes, bro, because the new operation, yeah, it's still the same thing, right? But I swear this little book, the female voice, Commander, I'm telling you, dog, I don't know, it had a charm to it for sure, bro, for sure. Working your path through that comic book, bro, right now it's just like a battle pass, I don't know. Old Operation had a nicer feeling.
Iteration we might see the return of comics, but it's important to note that the entire storyline has always been developing through gameplay tasks in Operation Journal and co-op missions. So if devs are indeed cooking comics, some interactive elements are also likely to be included, especially considering that the large number of updates over the past 6 months mentioned materials and models from previous co-op missions. In addition to this, shortly after the beta started, files and console commands for an entirely new game mode called Terror Hunt appeared. This mod was found in the config files with other game modes under the same subgroup as Co-op Strike. While regular story missions may be interesting to play once or twice, this mod represents a replayable cooperative map where you and your friends move from point A to point B, clear waves of incoming enemies and gradually progress through the location. You have limited time and each enemy kill adds an additional 10 seconds. But
what is that? What does that mean? CS updated just now, shut up. It's not zombie mode, right? Zombie mode would go hard in CS, but this is like waves and stuff. What is that? PvE. Check CS Twitter. Guys, stop trolling, bro. Actually?
by default, to win you need to eliminate 20 enemies. Interestingly, different updates also included lines related to hitting NPCs with certain melee weapons. Mentions of bots in light and heavy armor for the cooperative Guardian mode, and lines hinting at the return of the VIP Escort mode. Each operation comes with a vast amount of cosmetics. For example, 2 knives were found, one of which Kukri already had.
Oh my days, bro. Like, at least leak something, like, put something in the game files that gets us, like, hyped, you know what I mean? What the fuck is that, bro? Ain't nobody excited about the Kukri knife. Oh my days. We got the Kukri knife leaked and the twin blade knife, and both are mid as hell.
Has a complete model, and just recently a list of chroma skins was leaked, which will likely be used in a new case with this knife. Another twin blade knife was also found, but only in the form of an icon. A placeholder icon for an Agency's pack. 3 collections for weapons, Counter-Strike, Pop Comics, and Myth and Monsters that might
Kus for the subs. Resorkin with the Twitch Prime, Astora with the tier 1, Nizi, Kus.
use some old weapon models, plus 4 souvenir collections for each new remake, such as Inferno, Overpass, Italy, and Cobblestone. According to predictions, the first season of Premier Matchmaking should end around the end of December. Since the experiment with
Today. Let's see what he has to say about that.
integrating many systems and logic from Dota's MMR turned out to be quite successful, I believe developers will continue to test something like that. As I mentioned in my video 8 months ago, one of these features could be FPL-style matchmaking. In Dota it's called Immortal Draft and is a separate matchmaking where the two most skilled players take turns choosing 4 other players for their team. While there are still not so many players with red and gold ranks in CS2, after 1 or 2 seasons this idea could become way more.
Would that be good? I don't know. Cheetahs is paradise? Yeah, it could be abused even more, right? Because it's not like cheetahs are gonna do queue together. It's gonna be like one of the guys like picking the cheetah that they know. You know, they just queue at the same time.
More relevant. On top of that, Dota developers are actively combating smurfs and adding new system to address toxic behavior. And it's literally called behavioral ranks in a code. Each player has behavior points ranging from 0 to 12,000. If you disrupt other players, smurf, or engage in toxic behavior, players will report you and your points will decrease. The lower your behavior and communication scale, the more limited your in-game features and the worse your teammates will be. Essentially, it's a similar concept to the trust factor, but in Dota you can visually see what's the issue with your account.
That's cool.
And what needs to be done to fix it. I think developers will
Bro, that sounded like simple, no? I remember the clip. What's the issue? Classic.
do something similar in
About the
CS2
CS to DM.
as the current system is too obscure. The only way to know your trust factor right now is to invite someone with a guaranteed green trust level to your lobby and hope that they don't have red or yellow warnings. Lastly, I cannot ignore what is happening with the anti-cheat in Counter-Strike 2. During the game's announcement, we discovered that there was supposed to be a separate section dedicated to anti-cheat on the official page. However, many months have passed since the release and no information has appeared. It can be assumed that this announcement was related to new modules and the VAC live system, which detects cheaters during the game and stops the match. However, it seems that during beta testing, Valve encountered an excessive number of false positives, where players were being banned for using regular console commands or having too high mouse sensitivity. The current situation in Premier matchmaking for ranks above 15k is definitely frustrating. But despite people's desires, developers will likely never add an invasive anti-cheat at the driver level. This is a topic for a separate video, but they are still pretty much confident in their decision based on artificial intelligence in conjunction with client and server-side protection. The current tolerance for bad actors is probably a necessity to collect as much data as possible to refine the anti-cheat in long run. Valve as a company has always been against radical measures that could violate a user's personal boundaries or restrict their actions. In line with this philosophy, they are actively working on hardware like different Steam Deck iterations and their Linux shell called Steam OS. While it is possible to release a kernel-level anti-cheat for Linux, what's the point if any knowledgeable user can tamper with it? Especially considering rumors that after the success of Steam Deck, Valve is quietly working on the production of full-scale custom computers running Steam OS. Thus, the situation remains unclear. And it is also unfair to say that developers have given up on this issue. Just a week ago there was a significant wave of game bans, with some flaws of course, but they were quickly addressed. However, it's essential to accept that this battle will likely continue quietly. And Valve has always chosen a rather wise tactic: not stirring up unnecessary controversy. Let's see how they handle it in the next year, but for now use the robot emoji if you made it this far and make sure to hit the subscribe button to not miss my next video. Until next time, увидимся.
This is promising, bro.
One of the
This right here, chat.
Detective
Danger Zone, dog. Please. Oh my days. I would play so much fucking Danger Zone, bro. I'm not even kidding, bro. I never got tired of Danger Zone, even in CSGO, bro. If they improve that shit, no, you wouldn't. Yes, I would, bro. I was so addicted to Danger Zone. Are you stupid? I even played that shit off stream. Oh, my days, bro. Little grinding session with Arrow and shit, bro. Dona loves Danger Zone as well. My days, bro. Nice video though, eh? W that he translated it to English so we could understand it as well. Peng, leave some love to Gabe Follower, one of the few leakers that knows what he's doing